here we have a video of a modern day lynch mob that fortunately uh, turned turned out um, better than what it could have been. Uh, in this case, no black people were murdered. Uh, but this lynch mob was led by a deputy, which um, is truly a horrible thing.
Tonight, a racially charged case from North Carolina is capturing national attention.
It involves a white off-duty deputy leading a group of armed people to the home of a black woman and her 18-year-old son. 18-year-old Damian Shepard answered the door that day. The group then reportedly tried to force their way into the house. News4Jax reporter Erik Avanier spoke with Shepard, his mother, and our crime and safety expert, and he's joining us now live. Erik, our crime and safety expert, says this is another example of perceived racial imbalance when it comes to justice.
Yes, he does says that. You know, you have to think that the wheel of justice is always turning, but lately we've seen examples of that wheel slowing down and looking like it's almost going into a pause when it comes to alleged crimes against African Americans by white men with close ties to law enforcement.
Usually when it's white people with ties to law enforcement, majority of the time, they tend to get away with it or get very reduced sentences. And it's because the system of the United States has always been against black people ever since the foundation of the United States. Even the founding fathers believed that black people were lesser, which is why they still had them as slaves, even though they screamed and chanted about how, all men are created equal and that it's bad to be enslaved to anybody. But let's keep black people enslaved.
Back on the night of May 3rd near Wilmington, North Carolina, a neighbor's home surveillance camera records more than a dozen white men with flashlights and guns outside Monica Shephard's home. She and her son Damian were inside.
They were trying to get into the house.
In this surveillance video, you can barely hear Miss Shephard yelling at them to leave. Investigators say the group of men were led by Jordan Keita, an off-duty deputy from a neighboring county who was in uniform and was looking for a missing teenage girl. Damian says the group attempted to enter the home thinking the girl was inside.
Okay, though, if this off-duty officer is searching for a potentially kidnapped person, why is he gathering a mob of civilians to help him look for this missing person? If they're doing a search party, why are you just going to one house and trying to break in? The story from hearing it from this news clip, to me seems to be kind of problematic because of the number of people that came to one house.
At some point, I was thinking in my head, back of my head, they have guns the whole time, so I have to watch everything I do.
Concerned neighbors called 911. These are pictures of the neighbors who came out as deputies arrived. Although the men, including Keita, were still on scene being interviewed by law enforcement, no arrests were made even after Miss Shephard and her son say they felt terrorized in their own home.
Okay, wait a minute. No one was arrested, not the cop, nor any of the armed people that were terrorizing other people. How is that possible? Black people, they're usually shot on sight. Even at the slightest perceived threat, a black person will get killed. And these people can mob together, armed, and nothing happens to them. The, Another stark contrast between white Americans and black Americans and the United States society.
Someone came onto our property and broke the law.
5 days later, misdemeanor trespassing and breaking and entering charges were announced against Keita. Deputy Keita was also fired from the New Hanover Sheriff's Office. News4JAX crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson says it doesn't make sense to delay charging someone when you have this many neighbors witnessing the event.
Right, yeah, you have like a ton of people that witnessed a cop and a bunch of civilians trying to break into a house. Why wait so many days? Why wait 5 days to charge anybody with anything? And why is it only one person being charged? I mean, the deputy may be the leader, but other people willingly joined in to terrorize a family. They should be charged as well. It should be considered like domestic terrorism or something, to terrorize a family just because you believe that there may have been a crime going on there. It's domestic terrorism. I mean, dude, Aubrey in Georgia got murdered just because people thought he stole something. Why is it that a bunch of white people can go around brandishing weapons, attempting to break into people's houses and stuff, and nothing happens to them whatsoever?
Why wasn't this arrest done immediately following the crime, following the incident? What changed? Why is there a delay?
A spokesperson for the Pender County Sheriff's Office tells News4JAX a mandate is in place by the DA's office that says law enforcement officers who commit certain misdemeanors can't be immediately arrested at the scene until after their case has been investigated. Jefferson says optically, this doesn't look good.
Optically, this doesn't look good? No, because it gives cops a bit of immunity that they don't deserve. If you're a cop, you should be held at a higher standard compared to everybody else. If you break a law, you should be punished more harshly compared to other people, because you have a certain authority that you've been given, and if you use your authority and abuse it to commit crimes and stuff, well, you need to be punished severely, and to let others know that just because you got such authority doesn't mean you can abuse your power and terrorize people just because they're black.
Now, I have tried reaching out to that former deputy, Jordan Keita, by phone, but he nor anyone living at that listed address is picking up the line. I also left a text message, but no one got.
Okay, this is saying mob is also charged with terrorizing teen, but previously it didn't say anything about the mob also being charged. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know at the moment.
Back with me. As for that missing girl, we found out that she is a 15-year-old runaway who was found somewhere else, not even in that community. Reporting live.
Wow, not even in that community. So why was that deputy there? I mean, did he get a lead saying that the runaway was there in that community? Or was this motivated by a different reason as to why he was in that neighborhood?